In the heart of the village of Badari, Kiki had always stood out. Her height was a mystery to everyone, as no one else in her family or the village had grown so tall. She was a full head above most of the men, and a fair bit taller than every other girl her age. She was slender, with arms and legs that seemed to stretch endlessly, and a graceful, gentle walk that gave her an elegance others rarely noticed. People in Badari couldn't help but comment on her unusual appearance. Every time she walked through the village, it seemed like all eyes were on her. Some villagers would openly stare, while others would whisper and giggle behind her back. "How's the weather up there, Kiki?" the young boys would call out, smirking as they looked up at her. "You're so tall, we'd have to climb a ladder just to reach you." Even the older men would occasionally make jabs, saying, "No man wants a woman with nothing to hold." Kiki tried to ignore their words, but each comment stung her heart, leaving her feeling small inside despite her tall frame. Their words echoed in her mind long after they were spoken, and each one seemed to chip away at her self-worth. She wanted to fit in, to feel beautiful, and to have the kind of appearance that would make people admire her instead of laugh. She even tried changing herself. She would eat large meals of yams, plantains, and beans, hoping that maybe one day she would grow rounder and softer like the other girls. She also used special herbs that were supposed to help her gain weight. But no matter how much she ate or what herbs she tried, Kiki remained tall and slender. With each failed attempt, Kiki grew more frustrated and discouraged. She began avoiding the busy village square, preferring to take the quieter paths where she didn't have to see or hear the villagers' remarks. She found peace in places where no one else went, like the banks of the river, where she would sit and watch the water flow, its soft murmur the only sound around her. Here she felt she could escape the judging eyes and the hurtful words. Despite her struggles, Kiki held on to a faint hope. She dreamed of a day when someone would see her not for her height or thinness, but for her heart. She imagined a future where she would be cherished, where her height wouldn't be strange or a cause for laughter, but simply a part of who she was, something that didn't make her stand out quite so much. One day, a young man named Charles came to Kiki's family with an unexpected proposal. Charles was known in the village for his charm and easy smile, and when he asked to marry Kiki, her heart leapt with hope. She could hardly believe it. After years of feeling unwanted, someone had noticed her. She began to feel a flicker of joy and excitement, imagining the life they could share together. In the days that followed, Charles would visit her family, smiling and speaking sweetly, filling Kiki's heart with happiness. She began to feel proud of her tall frame, thinking perhaps it wasn't so bad if someone like Charles could see past it. But the night before the wedding, Kiki overheard Charles talking to his friends inside his hut. "Marry her?" he scoffed. "I just wanted to see if she'd actually believe me. Look at her. What man would want a woman looking like that?" Kiki's heart shattered. She had trusted him, let herself feel happy, and believed in a future by his side. But it had all been a cruel joke. Her face flushed with humiliation and sadness, and she felt the weight of every hurtful word as she ran back into her hut, shutting herself away from the world. The wedding was cancelled the next morning, and rumours of Charles's betrayal spread quickly through the village. Kiki stayed hidden, unable to face the villagers, her heart aching with betrayal. She began to feel like she would always be alone, forever the subject of ridicule and pity. Several days after her heartbreak, Kiki wandered to her favourite spot by the river, feeling the weight of her loneliness more than ever. She sat on the bank, her knees pulled up to her chest, gazing into the water. Her reflection stared back, tall and slim, a figure she had come to despise because of how different it was from everyone else's. She sighed, her heart heavy with sadness, wondering if she would ever find acceptance. Unbeknownst to her, the chief's son, Chidi, had returned to Badari after years of studying in the city. Known for his kindness and wisdom, Chidi had spent years learning about different cultures and people. That afternoon, Chidi decided to take a stroll by the river, eager to reconnect with the natural beauty of his home. As he walked, he spotted Kiki sitting alone, her figure graceful against the backdrop of the water and trees. Her expression, however, was one of deep sorrow, and Chidi felt a pang of empathy. He recognized her instantly, remembering the tall girl who had always seemed quiet and reserved, often avoiding the crowd. Something about her sadness drew him in, and he felt compelled to speak with her. Chidi approached her slowly, so as not to startle her. "Hello, Kiki," he greeted softly, his voice filled with warmth. Kiki looked up, surprised to see him. She quickly lowered her gaze, feeling the familiar sting of self-consciousness. "Hello?" she replied quietly, unsure of why the chief's son would be talking to her. Chidi sat down beside her, his gaze gentle. "I noticed you seemed sad. May I ask what's troubling you?" His tone was kind and genuine, so different from the teasing and laughter she was used to. Slowly, Kiki opened up, sharing her recent heartbreak and how her height and appearance made her feel like she would never be accepted. Chidi listened closely, nodding thoughtfully. When she finished, he said, "Kiki, I see something special in you. Your height and grace, they make you stand out in the most wonderful way. You may not see it now, but there is strength and beauty in being different." In the city, I met people of all kinds, each unique, and I learned that true beauty comes from embracing who you are. Kiki felt a glimmer of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. No one had ever spoken to her this way. Chidi's words stayed with her, and as he continued to visit her by the riverside, she began to see herself through his kind eyes. With each conversation, her self-doubt faded a little more, and a newfound confidence began to grow within her. As the Badari festival approached, the village prepared for the main event of the celebrations, the Forest Retrieval Challenge. This was a competition that tested courage, strength, and clever thinking. The task was to retrieve a rare medicinal plant known for its bright red flowers, hidden deep within the forest. Whoever could bring the plant back first would be declared the winner and celebrated by the whole village. There were 2 paths through the forest to reach the plant, the long path. It was a safe route, open and clear, but much farther. Many villagers preferred this route, knowing it would be easier to move quickly without getting caught up in branches and thorny bushes. The short path. It was a narrow, twisting trail that cut through dense trees, thorny plants, and low branches. The path was difficult and full of obstacles, with bushes and vines that would scratch and tangle anyone who tried to get through. It was risky, but if someone could manage it, the short path would allow them to reach the plant faster. When the challenge began, most competitors took the long path, choosing the safe, open route. But Kiki, with newfound confidence, chose the short path. She looked at the twisting vines and narrow spaces and realized her tall, slim frame might actually give her an advantage. Her long arms could help her reach over the thorny bushes, and her slender body could slip through the tight spaces without getting stuck. As Kiki navigated the short path, her tall frame helped her duck under branches and dodge thorny bushes. She moved quickly, weaving through the trees with a grace that surprised even her. She spotted the red flowers from a distance, and with a quick stretch of her long arms, plucked the medicinal plant. With a renewed sense of pride, she turned and made her way back through the forest. When Kiki emerged from the forest, she was the first to return with the plant. The villagers, seeing her tall frame appear with the prize, erupted into cheers. The chief announced her as the winner, and the crowd's applause filled the air. For the first time, people weren't laughing at her or whispering about her height. They were admiring her skill, her bravery, and her intelligence. Kiki felt pride swell in her heart. She had chosen a path that played to her strengths, and her success had shown everyone that her height and slender frame, once a source of mockery, could be a source of strength. The villagers looked at her with new respect, and she could see the admiration in their eyes. From that day forward, Kiki walked through Badari with her head held high, proud of who she was. She no longer cared about the teasing words or the laughter of others. She had found her own value, and her victory became a story of inspiration in Badari, a reminder to everyone that true strength lies in embracing what makes us unique. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting stories like this. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.